Ladies and gentlemen, if you're involved in the world of chess at all, then obviously you know Super Grandmaster Anish Giri. He's a fan favorite, married man, he's a dad, he's funny, charismatic, sarcastic, roasts people all the time. We love to see it. And if you're not involved in the world of chess and you only clicked on this video because you saw it in the sidebar, welcome to the world of chess. I'm Levy, I'll be your tour guide. In this video, I'm covering a game that Anish Giri played yesterday in the Chess Super League, organized by Samay Raina and Sagar Shah. From India. It is a super cool league idea with a lot of strong players and really interesting format which combines male and female players. So it really is a lot of fun. And Anish played a sick game. So what did I do? I told my thumbnail guy, shout out Jojo, to make the coolest thumbnail ever, which hopefully is why you clicked. And now we're going to look at the game. And I have no other introduction. Although when we say Anish Giri sacrifices his queen, we're not talking about Sopiko. We're talking about the chess piece queen. That's a scary title sometimes. So this is a rapid game. Anish's opponent is Abhijeet Gupta. Don't worry about the ratings. These are chess.com rapid ratings. Abhijeet Gupta is one of the strongest grandmasters from India. Doesn't play, I don't think, as much currently, but I digress. And the game begins with d4, knight f6, c4, e6, and knight c3. And if you're going to play this against this, you're going to play one move and one move only on move 3 with black. And that move is king to bishop b4. So bishop b4 is known as the Nimzo-Indian defense. I'm actually going to make a video on the Nimzo-Indian defense very soon. Not at the time of recording this video, but in the next day. It's on my radar. This fights against white's central expansion e4 by pinning the knight to the king. Now here, there are 9 moves that white can play, maybe even more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6... 7, is it 7? Maybe it's 8. Yeah, there's a lot of moves. But we have e3, which is the main line. E3 is the main line. It's called the normal line. Talk about a stigma. And the point is you block in this bishop, but oftentimes this bishop will come here or just slowly get out to b2 and then the center will open up. Usually bishop d3 and knight f3 are played. But sometimes knight e2 is also played to try to recapture on c3 with the knight. Black plays castles because you don't really know what white is going to do yet, so you don't know which one of your pawns you want to commit forward. And now bishop d2, that's already a sideline. Normally white plays bishop d3 and knight f3, or knight e2, either now or after the bishop gets developed, and black only takes this when the bishop is prompted to do something. Anish plays d5, which is principled. Now knight to f3, and he plays the move b6. Now basically the game plan for black is something like, let's say white just keeps developing. You're going to take on c4 to make this bishop move a second time, right? And then you're going to put your bishop out here. And at some point you might not even take. You might take, but you might not take. You might even come back. But in a usual Nimzo situation, you plop this knight here, you plop this knight out, you play c5. That's the way you're going to fight back for the center. This knight can trade for this bishop. This bishop is strong and you just have an equal position. So white takes on d5 first. Because white actually says, well, now you're not going to get the bishop to b7. That doesn't make any sense. Why would you put the bishop on b7? Stupid. I don't think white actually says that. But so rook c1. And now black plays c5. Black's like, well, you gave me some central presence, so I'm going to play c5. Now, you might notice that this bishop, a little bit stuck. And yeah, that's because you are ready to invest this bishop into this knight. I mean, that bishop is there to die. But white just plays bishop e2, just continuing developing. And now Anish, rather than finishing his development with a bishop or a knight or rook e8, he plays c4, which is a very committal decision. I'm not sure that this is theoretically the best move. I don't know where we are in terms of the theory of the position, meaning what has been played before and what hasn't. But essentially, he's closing down the queen side and leaving at least the possibility of returning home with his bishop. Also, now he will probably play a6, b5, so that he at least has this whole pawn set up here. White will fight back against this with moves like b3 and moves like a4 to try to undermine the structure. Obviously, this is all for grabs. The rook, bishop, knight are all going to come in here. This is a very critical square for black to maintain control over. So, without further ado, all of that happens. And Abhijeet Gupta plays knight e5. Knight e5 is a really nice move visually because it controls squares. You also have ideas to play f4, locking that knight in forever. And my favorite, the bishop now will transfer here, and that's a soft spot. That's just a soft spot because it has no pawns behind it. So that pawn's going to be tough to defend. Not to mention this bishop is always unguarded, so there's always various tactical tricks. Like right now, this move doesn't work. because the knight just takes back and obviously defends the bishop. But there are moments where, like, you know, random knight jumps could work. They could work. For example, like the move knight e4, terrible, because you just take, and now, right? So I mean, you're just going to win a lot of material here. So anyway, a6, knight e5, b5, Anish goes for his good stuff. There's a4. Everything that I promised is occurring. Anish has to hold his position together, or else he's just going to be much worse. His queen side's going to fall apart. So he brings the queen to help the pawn. Now, at this point, white should play bishop f3. He does it in a move. First, he plays queen c2, knight c6, now bishop f3. Okay. Where's Anish going to finish his development? Oh, he is actually first going to play knight e7. That is an interesting move. You defend your center, and you threaten bishop f5. And actually, the quality of the pieces, the two knights and the two bishops, black has the better pieces. This bishop is not very good. And if white can't actually break through the middle and doesn't get to play f4, white's pieces look good but do nothing. Like a Lamborghini you purchased in your garage that doesn't have an engine or tires. You just bring all your friends over like, look, me have Lamborghini. And your friends are like, it's just a giant piece of metal with a brand logo on it. And you're like, isn't that what a car is anyway? Doesn't it actually not have any practical ability in terms of driving? Isn't it just all marketing? Anyway, that's a conversation for a different day. B3. So there's b3. Bishop f5. Queen moves out of the way. Rook b8. Anish has successfully defended his queen side. Now after takes. Yeah, I mean, if BC just this, and you're chilling, and you're happy. Now, Abhijeet Gupta is like, my position's not great, so what I have to do is play a little bit aggressively. G4, which apparently was the engine's top choice when Anish threatened bishop f5. The engine is like, just play this move. It's a modified grob. On move 15, you play g4 to prevent bishop f5. Looks a bit ridiculous. So instead, he plays it on this move to actually attack the bishop. And Anish just barrels right in. What? But that's being... Wait, what? But that's just the loss of a piece, right? Knight takes g4. No. Not quite. Because after bishop takes g4, if you take, what's the move here for black? You paying attention? Or do you have me open in another tab while you do something else? What's the move here for black? Pay attention. Queen g6. Look at that. That's cool. And if you defend this bishop, don't just give up on the idea, h5 or f5. And this bishop is gone. And the thing is, yes, white can maybe get to this position, but this is losing. Because again, what are your pieces doing? What? Was the goal of the game to form a diamond over here? No. So, at this point, Abhijeet Gupta tries to detonate a tactic. Knight takes d5. So now the bishops see each other. They're both hanging, by the way. The knights see each other. This knight also sees the bishop and the queen, and the bishops see each other. But what is the most important thing for black here? It's the fact that the queen is hanging. So probably you have to take. Now, in this position, the best move is knight takes d5. Because after something like bishop takes d5, you can take, and just play queen g6. And the game is simply over. The game is simply over. Why is it over? Well, even though material is completely equal, black just has a raging attack on the king. And black is going to just win this by virtue of bringing the rook, because the rook is actually the next piece to show up to the attack. Not to mention the 2-on-1 here will always become a pass pawn opportunity. Black has a winning position. But Anish Giri was like, I want to end up in a GothamChess video. It's been a long time since he's featured me. And I really like that video that he made called When Anish Giri Crushed Magnus Carlsen. Literally, he wrote that he loves me, and I pinned that comment. So, what does he do? Well, he sacks his queen, which is why you clicked on this video. He sacks his queen for absolutely zero reason. He just gives his queen away completely. Just knight takes queen. Knight takes queen. Boom, boom. Okay, so you cannot take this because... Why? Pay attention. Why can't you play bishop takes bishop? Same problem. Rook rotates over. Don't forget about that. That's mate, by the way. That's bad. I mean, getting mated is like a good thing in life. It's not a good thing. No, not a good thing here. So, rook d1, which is an interesting move because on the one hand, you can take this rook. On the other hand, what I like to call the relative value of this bishop versus that rook, it's not close. Bishops are 3 points, rooks are 5. So you go, ha-ha, I've won that trade. Yes, but your bishop is like a 5-point bishop, and this rook is like a 1.5, all right, 1.75, all right? I don't mean to be a pointist, okay, with the rooks, but that's not a good rook. So Anish gives the check, the king goes here, and now he just brings his bishop back. Just brings the piece back. So now he's actually threatening bishop h2, which is a fascinating move. Like, this is force mate. You can't escape mate. You have all these pieces. You have 19, you have 22 points of pieces. You can't do anything about it. Bishop, rook g1 is mate. So, Abhijeet Gupta plays bishop a5, which is a logical move because he's going to run. Now, if you continue with this plan, the king runs. I'm not kidding. The king just absolutely runs away. And by the way, white is better now because at the end of the day, white's got a queen, okay? And if you actually count the material here, like, it's 2 pieces for a queen. It's it. It's a bishop and a knight for a queen. Both guys have 2 rooks, and one guy has a bishop, and they both have 5 pawns. White is up 3 points of material. So Anish plays knight d5. Knight d5 just activates another piece. Maybe you have rook g2, knight takes e3 ideas with the pin here on the queen. White takes on c4, b takes c4, and now king continues running. Now, if you play rook takes c4, you actually lose this rook for absolutely free, at which point the material balance now shifts to black. So, king to e1, attempting to run away, because why wouldn't you attempt to run away? I mean, you are about to get absolutely butchered. I think the engine here likes queen c2 with the idea to take with the queen, but it's still, once you let the engine actually run in the position, it just realizes how bad the position is. It's like, just go here, here, and here. Like, white just has no time to defend. So, king e1. Now, what is the only piece in the black position that's not playing at all? Rook b8. Rook b8, rook b8, attack a queen on the other side of the board, and it's defended. Queen c2. And now Anish just plays a really nasty move. I mean, he has 2 rooks, he has 2 bishops, he has a knight. So what does he do? He moves just this pawn. He's like, you can't take this. You can't take this. I mean, you can, but you can't take this because bishop to b4. And you know what's really savage about this position? Like, all of this happened. Here's what's really savage about all this. After the move c3. So rook g1 is obviously threatened, right? If white plays, well, if white plays nothing, rook g1 is made. So if white plays something like queen takes g6, sacrificing the queen, let's count the material. Black is a point up, but black also has this. This is just very bad news. But bishop takes c3. It looks like this doesn't work. Why not? Why does it look like this doesn't work? Well, because queen takes b4. Queen takes b4, rook b4, rook c8. Yeah. But what about this didn't work? We're going to learn right now. It's called reciprocal thinking. You say, okay, what about, does c3 not work? Does knight c3 not work? Does bishop b4 not work? No. Rook b4 doesn't work. What? In this position, black has rook to g1, king d2, rook takes rook. Check, deflecting the rook off of the c-file, at which point black takes, and the rook cannot go to d8 because it cannot kangaroo over 2 pieces. That's a different variant of chess. Now, rook c1, here Anish Giri confidently gives a check and proceeds not to blunder. Back rank mate, and here Abhijeet Gupta resigned because he is down a bishop for a pawn, and you can trust that Anish Giri will be winning this endgame by picking up the h-pawn and probably promoting his very own. Now, if these 4 pawns were not on the board, and neither were these 3, rook and bishop versus rook is most likely just a draw. You can win it if you have the bishop, but it's pretty challenging to win, and it's also pretty challenging to defend. So there's a chance that he would have won it, but not with pawns on the board, because these pawns don't go anywhere. That pawn will be hunted, and the game is over. So, Anish Giri parts ways with his queen. Let me go back. Instant replay. My man really just said, you can have it. And then proceeded to just launch a violent attack on the king, with even understanding that his position is so good, he can just make backwards retreating moves and just embarrass the white forces with the queen and 2 rooks. I mean, absolutely, like, fascinating game here from Anish, punctuated by the final beautiful tactic, rook to g1, which was all foreseen. When Anish played c3, he saw this. Beautiful game from Anish, and sacrificing his queen takes on a whole new meaning. Figured I'd show this game because, yeah, I mean, who doesn't like queen sacrifices, and who doesn't like cyberpunk-style thumbnails, and who doesn't like a nice, quick 14, 15-minute video to start your day or end your day, or watching in the middle of class because you're bored at school day. Anyway, folks, as always, peace out. I'll see you in the next video. Get out of here.